Hey, I'm Ray Parker. I played Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace and Solo, A Star Wars Story, and G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, and you're listening to Disney Universe Podcast.
We would be honored if you would join us.
To infinity and beyond!
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing. That was all started by a mouse.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 179 of the Disney Universe Podcast. This is your official podcast for everything that Disney adults love, such as the parks, the music, the IP, Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, Muppets, all that good stuff. And even more. So hope you enjoyed. Speaking of Disney adults, hope you enjoyed our last episode. That was a lot of fun with AJ Wolf. And I'm still geeking off of that. That was such a great conversation. But I'm also going to be geeking off over this episode because we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of Toy Story. You guys know we all love talking about our big anniversary projects or not project, but just like movies or attractions or something. But this is the first time we actually have somebody that was in the Toy Story. We have special guest John Morris, the voice of Andy, in the first 3 Toy Stories, and man, it's such a great conversation. You guys are going to love it, but that'll come up shortly. But of course, could not do this show by my lonesome, so I got my 2 awesome co-hosts. Alex, what's up, brother?
Over here, just big geeking like you, man. We're always geeking here week to week, geeking out on Disney, and this week is no exception. Great conversation with John Morris. Very much looking forward to. I'm looking forward. Got MouseCon coming up. I'm all systems go Lorcana right now. Shout out to our good friend Rebecca, Glimmers of the Galaxy. She at time you're hearing this will have done first Disney Lorcana challenge of the year, hosting in Bologna, Italy. So big shout out to her. And she will be the host of every Disney Lorcana challenge in Europe and North America, along with Baker, the Lorcana villain, and then a whole different cast of commentators. So definitely check out Disney Lorcana on Twitch, where they stream all of their live events, and Rebecca Quests, if you're not already. But if you're listening to this, you probably already are, right? Because you're friends of the Disney Universe.
Yeah, and a bonus shout out to Rebecca. She's actually gotten 2 articles on the official Lorcana website. So check those out. You can read those through the app, and it's just fun having friends that's doing something very cool.
Yeah, if your deck doesn't go like mine, then go pick up her Heroes deck that she put up on there. She even showed it as a cool feature. If you're reading the article through the official Lorcana app, it will automatically, you can click a button and it will just upload that app upload her deck list into your Lorcana app so you can build the deck, which is great.
Yeah. And next co-host is Ryan, who's thinking nerds right now. What's up, man?
Seeing my background, I'm pretty nerdy too.
True. And all I got to say right now is I'm happy that you're here this week. We weren't sure if we're going to have you, but glad you are. So
yeah, no, I'm not dying. It may sound like I'm dying. If you haven't listened the last few weeks, you got baby on the way. So any second.
Yeah. So we'll make this a fast one, but we could not do this fun podcast without the help of some very special people. So let's get to the mousekeeping and thank those very special people. Alex.
Yeah, big ups to the DU crew. They are the toys in Andy's room, and the Andy's room of the Disney Universe here. Big shout outs to Alfredo, Jen, Tyler, King of the Bags, John Z, Salah MJ1995, Jacob, and Wedge Antilles. You guys are the best. You guys make this toy chest what it is. And if you want to bring more Disney love to this toy chest in the Disney universe, you can join us and them right here at patreon.com/DU crew. Find out about 2 tiers of fun because we'd love to have you. So come join us.
Absolutely. And shout out, John. Congratulations to your Brew crew who got the number 1 seed in the National League playoffs. So I wish you guys do it for Uke, I guess. So.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't congratulating anybody this early. Just too early in the playoffs, but the Brews look good. I hope they can make it to the World Series because we can all cheer for beer.
Exactly.
Go
man.
Mariners Brewers series, I'd watch that.
Yeah, I honestly haven't really watched baseball in a few years, but I'm definitely going to watch the Mariners. I used to go to like games all the time. I used to drive down $6 seats way up top, and then you just walk down.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow with the quadruple header on ESPN. That's going to be fun.
You guys' catcher is just crazy good. But speaking of crazy good, if you happen to find us on the Walt's apartment, or if you're new to the show, where can people interact with us and talk about the Mariners and Brew Crew?
Yes, you guys can interact with us at the Disney Universe podcast all across the board, Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. And if you're watching us right now on the DU TV and you want to listen, what was it, Joey?
I was posing.
Oh, I thought you were like trying to signal something to me.
Watching us TV.
You're watching us. Yes, you can head over to Walt's Apartment Productions on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, and listen to us at work, on your drive home, on your way to work, in the drive-through. We're everywhere.
Nice. I was doing the Woody, the so fresh, so clean.
Oh, so fresh and so clean.
Shout out Discord, apparel. Miss you, Matt the Rat. Hope all's well if you're listening. But yes, let's get to Toy Story. So November 1995. One of us was in high school. One of us was in high school. One of us was in junior high. One of us was in diapers. You guys do the math. Pixar released Toy Story in the theaters, the first completely computer generated movie, which that was getting the hype about just a team of toys and get introduced to a brand new space toy, and just hijinks ensues. And to tell you the truth, when I saw this movie in the theater for the first time, the computer animation was the least impressive, because the story, that the characters, this movie hit on all cylinders. And it looked great with the computer graphics, but oh man, this, became an instant fan of this movie. Saw it with my parents, and I was in high school, but I was buying the toys up. I was lucky enough to get a small size Buzz Lightyear, not the other ones that were sold out everywhere. But Alex, did you see this in the theater?
I think I did, but I don't have a very specific recollection of it. Yeah, I mean, I would have been 8th grade, I think. I remember it being cool. I remember, noticing the difference. I think I was a little too young to see. Obviously, most of this is in hindsight for us now, of like the kind of the struggle with animation and computer animation at Disney, and how Pixar, Lasseter kind of broke off and did his own thing at Pixar. And, it's really crazy when Toy Story became a thing, and now as an adult Disney fan who really has an appreciation for the history of it, like this was like Snow White, and that it was like they said it couldn't be done, and so that just gave them the inspiration to do it. And obviously 30 years later, looking at where we are now, obviously we really owe a lot to Lasseter, Catmull, Jobs, everybody at Pixar for looking at Walt Disney, saying that he could do it with Snow White, and saying we can do it too, and through the Pixar story and such, that he probably said it about 10 years before it actually happened, and just needed to get the space to go and do it on his own. But and how far the Toy Story movies, but just computer animated movies in general have come since then. I mean, Pixar and the way they've detailed things like water and hair and stuff, it's crazy, especially when you compare them back to this original Toy Story.
Oh yeah. And you mentioned 30 years later, and speaking of 30 years later, like Ryan, I mean, you've literally grown up with this movie. So, I mean,
Yeah.
how has that affected where you're at now?
Yeah, like that. The first toy I remember having is like my Woody and Buzz. That's like the earliest memory I have seeing a movie in the theaters is Toy Story 2. So I know it's not Toy Story 1, but it's my whole childhood has been Toy Story, like costume or like Halloween costumes growing up, Woody, Buzz. I had all the toys, like Slinky, Rex, like I had everything. It was my whole childhood was Toy Story. And now with Walt, his baby shower theme was Toy Story. He's got Walt's room, like but within the Toy Story logo on his door already. So yeah, like you'll hear in the interview coming up, but yeah, it's like this movie is generational. Like 10 days ago when I went to see it in the theater, it was like my parents, me, Earl, and Walt. So like 3 generations. I know Walt's not here yet, but it was like 3 generations watching this movie. So it's very cool.
Well, but definitely by the time 5 comes out.
Yeah. I know. I think we'll have to do like the baby viewings for some movies. So I'll watch it twice. One with the lights off, but yeah.
Nice. And one of the crazy things too that we're celebrating the 30th of Toy Story, but we could talk about like the whole thing and even like Pixar because this was so groundbreaking for everything. But this was also at a time that Disney movies were starting to not be very good. They were kind of going in a weird direction. Most of the box office were kind of flops. The parks were kind of getting a little haggard and they couldn't bring in these new properties to the parks because, nobody really liked the movies. So like, I don't know if you guys remember, but when they closed the submarines for the whole 98 thing, they wanted to bring them back. And they're like, well, we'll bring them back with Atlantis. That movie's coming out this summer and, it's water based. So we'll do that. Then the movie was kind of a box office flop. They're like, well, maybe not. So then they're going to do a Treasure Planet. Oh, we'll do Treasure Planet subs because, that movie was a box office flop. So they're like, well, maybe not. So, and then, then Nemo comes, we're obviously a few years later after Toy Story and stuff, but Nemo comes out and they're like, boom, subs. So like Pixar starting with Buzz Lightyear or Woody and everything from Toy Story actually kind of brought Disney movies and even the parks. And I'm just going to speak for Disneyland Resort right now. Kind of people wanted to see Buzz and Woody and get a picture with them in Frontierland. And, they had Buzz Light, the Space Ranger spin in Florida. So they brought it to California too. And, it was an instant hit. So in a lot of ways, Toy Story / Pixar kind of helped Disney out of the few times it was actually underperforming box office wise and theme park wise.
Yes, definitely helped them regain their crown. I don't know if they technically ever lost it, but definitely, like some would say in the theme park game, maybe happening with Universal. I debate against it, but that's not for this show. Pixar is definitely the Infinity Stone that helped them seal the deal and go back to the top. Pixar in the parks is great. And, I think when we were talking about how they got around to Toy Story and, how it took off, if you haven't seen the Pixar Story documentary, we've mentioned in the past before, it's done by Leslie Iwerks, who's responsible for the Imagineering story on Disney Plus. The Pixar Story is also available on Disney Plus. Do yourself a favor, go and watch that. It's a really cool, real chronological kind of line of how Pixar came to be and kind of helps you see the through line of where the different animators were, how, Pete Docter, who is now the head of creative at Pixar, was working on that original Toy Story before he got his own films and stuff. Kind of reminded me of like a NFL coaching tree, the way that all the different animators step out and started doing their own projects, and they were just all hits. So Toy Story is the one that got that all rolling.
and a cool thing too about like that in Pixar, it's like, it's kind of, it's a lot of space to cover here, but it's kind of like in our backyard, Emeryville, just little corner in the little downtown part there. Just, it just feels, even though I haven't been outside the gates, it just still feels small and family, but kind of go back to
back then. And it was back then.
Yeah.
Definitely not what it is now.
But kind of going back to Toy Story, like, is there any like favorite scenes or anything that always stands out? Or I know we talk in movie quotes sometimes, so anything that we end the show with Infinity and Beyond, but anything other than that,
specifically one?
What?
Oh no, not at all.
No. For my favorite scene in like the franchise is the end of or not the very end of 3, but 3 when they're all going into the fire pit. I don't know, but just
it's sick and twisted.
Just I was at the downtown Disney Theater for the first showing. Like it started at like 11 p.m. or something. Like full packed house, like not a like sold out show, and just like everyone just like like you could just feel everyone's emotions during that scene. So that hits harder, I think, just because like where I was for that.
Yeah, that was crazy because, I mean, sometimes I could see what's coming in movies, and these are like, grown up movies. I'm like, oh, that's the killer. That's the dun 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 part. I didn't see like a way out for them going down into the, especially once they started, grabbing each other's hands, and I'm like, oh my god, is this? They're not. No, I did not see the giant claw coming. But I think I gave out a loud like woohoo in the theater, like woo.
Yeah.
Oh man. What about you, Alex?
Toy Story 3 is the reason we didn't think they were actually going to snap them all away and then go to black in Infinity War, right? It's like the claw is going to come save them, and so they're not going to do that. Could you imagine if they had done that in Toy Story 3? People just, that dark ending of Infinity War music at the end. Dun,
yeah.
Dun, dun.
But it'd be like, dun,
Woody
dun,
and Buzz will return.
Woody and Buzz will return.
Talk about getting dusted, right? Now, for me, I just watched it, before we started recording, and I think I didn't write down a bunch of the lines, but in that very first scene when the toys come to life and start talking, you really get the vibe. It's not your the saying is like, it's not your parents this or that, but it's almost like it's not your. I mean, I guess I was closer to a kid then, but it wasn't like the kids' movies from when we were kids. There were definitely lines that were directed straight at the adults, things that would go straight over a kid's head. The one that I wrote down is when Woody is trying to reason with the aliens and Sid starts pulling Buzz out with the claw. He says, "Stop it, you zealots." And I was, there's no way a kid knows what a zealot is.
I don't know what a zealot is.
It's like a religious freak.
Oh,
the way that they were like praising the claw and everything. Oh, yeah. No offense to religious freaks out there, just anyway.
I have been chosen. I am eternally grateful.
There it is. Yeah, we'll get that at HouseCon. So,
or there's that one.
There was a line right when Woody was talking to Bo Peep for the first time, and she says to him, she's like, I'm right around the block, and she's like walking around building blocks as she says that. So just little puns and stuff that would go over a kid's head, but we're actually very on the nose. I thought that was really cool. Kind of set the tone for it being a movie that was going to keep all ages entertained, and again going with the Disney theme of Walt Disney creating a park that kids and adults could be at together. I think that's definitely set the tone, not just for the Toy Story series, but for Pixar movies in being heartfelt, but for all ages.
Yeah, and especially with Toy Story, because all kids can relate because of toys, but a lot of the toys that they use were toys that my parents had. They had a Potato Head and Slinky and all this stuff. So like people of all, like you said, can really relate because that's what they played with. But yeah, so I mean, Toy Story, the first one was just an instant classic, and I bring it up later, but it's just one of those movies that it's always gonna be around. You could throw it in there with, Star Wars and Mary Poppins and Pinocchio and all these classic movies, because it is that good. And I remember when they talked about doing the sequel, and it was at the time too where a lot of Disney movies were doing direct to video sequels, and so Toy Story 2 was supposed to be a direct to video sequel. And when they're checking in on it, the brass was like, "Nah, this movie's too good. We're going to make this a theatrical release." And many people, they thought Toy Story 2 was better than the first one. I'm one of those people. I love the first one, but they just kind of upped the ante in the second one. And then, by the time the third one came out, I thought they ended it perfectly. And they were smart too, because the way it ended with Andy and Bonnie, it was a perfect passing of the torch. And then all the Toy Story content after that was shorts. And so it fit that, like, the movies were Andy and the characters, but then the shorts that they were doing was Bonnie. And I thought those were all really good. So I know when they announced Toy Story 4, I was like, do we need a Toy Story 4? And to me, it felt like a long short, but it was still good. I mean, I'll take Ducky and Bunny all day, every day. And then same thing, we hear, they're doing Toy Story 5. It's like, do we need a Toy Story 5? And you hear the premise, like, well, I'm still going to see it. That sounds awesome. But,
yeah. Honestly, I like the premise of Toy Story 5 better than the premise of Toy Story 4, only because it seems like it's a lot more appropriate for the time. Toy Story 4, I mean, I don't really remember what we knew about it going into it, but in hindsight, it's, it just was another story. I don't know. Not to like bash on Frozen 2 or Moana 2, but neither one is, and I'm sure we'll get a third. I know we have a third and fourth Frozen on the way, but I don't think neither have realized the better ending that the original already had. And in Toy Story's case, that third ending was the better ending so far. Yeah. So they can continue going, and hopefully they can try and top the ending of Toy Story 3. And hopefully at that point they decide to just say it's done, unless that they can continue with a better story. But as long as there's good stories to make, and, this Toys versus Tech seems like it will be a good story to make, more power to them. And that's the problem, is if you keep making a good movie with fun characters that we know and love, we're going to keep seeing it, and they're going to want to keep making more of them. So.
Yeah. And John brings up a good way on what, how they could go, and we'll let you guys wait and listen to that. That'll be coming up really shortly here. And if you go through the first 4 movies right now, it's a great way to see the progression of the technology. Because even if, you go from the first Toy Story to 2, it's like, whoa, it's like night and day where they, with, the way the graphics. Then same thing with 3 and the same thing with 4. It's just like, man, these keep getting realer and realer. So, that's a good way to do a little test of time. And the rides. Oh yeah.
Lightyear also filing in there as, a spin-off of the Toy Story universe that really in universe is the inspiration for the toy. So, we've seen a lot of that around Disney with Pirates of the Caribbean, inspiring the movie, inspiring the ride. Just really interesting how that played out. And, I think for me, we'll continue to touch on this in the interview you're going to hear in just a second, but there are a lot of other avenues that they could explore within the different characters already in the Toy Story universe. I love the idea of Forky Asks a Question for the small kids, explaining these kind of bigger concepts and stuff. And, just the shorts were great. Partysaurus Rex, all kinds of good ones.
I love that. What up, fishes?
Ones, right?
Toy Story Terror?
Yeah, Toy Story Terror. Yeah, that's what it's called. That's a good one.
That's a really good one. I like the Ken and Barbie go to Hawaii. Yes. It's like their honeymoon. That's a good one.
When we were getting ready to go to Hawaii, I definitely pulled out every Hawaiian thing I could find. There's like an old, I think a Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse cartoon in Hawaii too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's classic. And of course, we love Toy Story Mania. We love.
Yeah, I was thinking when we were talking here about how you kind of brought up the parks in the beginning, and how Finding Nemo came in, and just thinking about all the different Pixar IPs that have rides now in the parks. I mean, you got Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Cars, Incredibles, Inside Out. A Bug's Life used to have a whole land.
They got the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's others. Those are all the ones that are immediately rolling off the tongue. But yeah, I'm just trying to think about what Disney parks would have been if they didn't have that Pixar partnership and stuff.
Yeah. Or even the movies, because after the success of where Pixar was going, John Lasseter actually left and became the animation director for Disney, bringing in Tangled. Princess and the Frog was his first one. Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, and everything after.
And Tangled was right after Princess and the Frog. And
yeah, so he really
obviously seeing where they went with the computer animation and stuff too.
Yeah. So it brought back Disney animation while Pixar was still thriving. So yeah, man. I still can't believe 30 years though. It's just crazy. I mean, we do these anniversary shows every, couple months, but there's certain ones that are just like, man, I mean, incredible. And it doesn't seem like Toy Story stopping anytime soon, even after the 5th movie. So
no, you'll hear about that at the end of the interview. Sounds
these
like
characters are forever.
Yeah, I guess there's not really much else for us to say about it right now, but there was a lot for us to say about it with our guest, who we've been very much looking forward to talking to for a while, and we're very much looking forward to sharing with you right here. So without any further ado, here is our interview, our great time talking with John Morris, the voice of Andy from Toy Story.
All right, guys. So as promised, we are talking about Toy Story, the 30th anniversary. And before we get going, let's share this little video that was attached to the re-release in theaters. So here we go.
Reach for the sky. Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. Come in, Star Command. Do you read me? Hello? Oh, yeah! Whoa, 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 whoa!
Yeah! We hit the jackpot, Bullseye! Aren't you being a little dramatic about all this?
In our earliest days of Pixar, we really wanted to prove that you could tell stories completely different in animation.
The idea that we could do the world of toys, seeing things from the toys' point of view way down low, was really attractive.
You are a toy!
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
We are all toys. Unique, beautiful toys.
Well, howdy! We got a chance to make kids happy.
Hello.
Everybody loves these characters.
You darn tootin'. We're not done yet. There's more story to tell.
To infinity and beyond!
Yeah, that's so cool. We're so excited to be talking about Toy Story, and even more excited that we actually have one of the stars from the first 3 films, John Morris, the voice of Andy himself, coming on talking Toy Story with us. So before we get nerding out, John, thank you for joining us. And I don't know where to go from there. I'm just super excited. So
yeah, thank you for having me. I love talking about all things Toy Story and Andy, so this is perfect.
Yeah, and this is awesome. And we're in almost the beginning of October, and getting ready for. We'll talk about it more a little later. But MouseCon, I've seen you from afar over the last couple of years, and never really went to say hi. So I'm glad I could finally like, hey, hi, would you like to join us on the show? And yeah, so before we kind of get going, we're just going to kind of nerd out and just talk about mainly the first movie, but we could also, of course, the 2 and 3 are very awesome and important too. But yeah, as everybody knows, we have a big wide age gap where I was a senior in high school when I saw Toy Story in the theater. I remember the build up, and then Ryan was in diapers when the movie came out. So, and it's still one of our favorites. So, but I guess before we kind of get into Toy Story, can you tell us about, do you remember like the process of, getting involved in auditioning and all that?
Yeah. So just to kind of go back in time, I was 6 years old when I started acting. And so that was 1990. And I took an acting workshop in San Francisco, and we did like on-camera voiceover and some theater monologues. And my favorite was the voiceover. And at the end of that, there was like an agent showcase. So I got an agent, and then I was lucky enough to like book a few commercials and things. And then I got the audition for Andy when I was 7. And they asked us to bring our favorite toy to the audition. That was for the first audition. And I brought like all my X-Men action figures in a huge case. And my mom was like, okay, pick one. They said bring one toy. And I was like, no, I'm going to bring them all because I couldn't just pick one.
Yeah.
And so I brought them all. And then I started just like playing with them, voicing, Wolverine, Professor X, Storm, Magneto. And then later they said, that's how Andy plays. Andy, kind of just like uses his imagination, launches into play, creates the voices. So that's what then got me, the callback. And then in the callback, I was reading from the script, and they just sort of like narrowed in, and I was the lucky one. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's awesome that you bring up the voicing the characters, because as you know, we've all seen it many times. I had the privilege of not doing much today, so I watched it just before coming on with you here. And
nice.
I noticed the first voice we hear in Toy Story is you doing, I forget his name, but the villain, Dr. Spud or whatever. No, it was the one-eyed potato.
Oh, that's right.
The one-eyed potato. But so it's, that takes you back to a kid, remembering doing the voices, and how Andy had made the cows that he was lassoing and everything in his room. It totally set the scene. And so I could see how doing that in your audition really probably helped shape the character from that point a little bit too.
Yeah, totally, because they kind of referenced that when we started recording, like, remember when you were playing with your toys? And like, that's how Andy's playing with his toys. Exactly. Yeah. And as you say, the beginning of Toy Story, it just like launches in with Andy in full play mode in his room. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it lent itself really well to that.
And me, like I said, at the time, being in high school, instantly got transported back to when I was playing with my He-Man and Star Wars, and the exact same way. And I mean, the storytellers, the animators, they really nailed that beginning, and it brings you into the movie so quick too, because I guess it's kind of a two-part question, but you're really young, but I mean, when did it really sit in that you were kind of in a trailblazing film at the time, or was it just another cartoon animated, not a fully computer animated?
So I sort of realized that over time, at first it started very small. It was like I was there with the director and the producers and the writers, just like in the booth, me and the director. And, and I was just like having a lot of fun. But then I started, they started to show us storyboards and character drawings and renderings and models. And I was like, okay, this does look new. It's like a new way to animate. And I started to kind of get a sense of that. And then they started showing little like clips and things, and it's like, okay. And then when I started to see the publicity, and it was like on billboards and buses, it was like, okay, this is going to be bigger than I thought, like I didn't quite realize like how big it was going to be. Especially because at the time Pixar, they had a staff of like 20 or 30, and now they have like 2,000 or more staff, so it was much smaller. It just started small. And then just, kind of like got bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And I don't know if Alex kind of remembers, I know Ryan won't, but it's like the whole build up to the movie, going to like the Disney store, and they had the previews and everything. And it was just like, Toy Story, the first fully computer animated movie. And that was the whole thing. But it kind of, when the movie came out, it actually, I remember, just knocked everybody on their butts, because it was like, yeah, it's the first, fully computer, but it is a damn good movie, a great story. Adults, kids, I mean, like, whoa, I'm feeling emotions, watching this animated movie, not just from the art, but just from the storytelling. So, I mean, it didn't hit me till we were talking, or me and you were talking like via message, but it's like, Toy Story's always been around, but I'm like, and I want to know how you feel about this, but it's like, Toy Story is one of those movies that you're going to put up with, like, also Star Wars, Mary Poppins, Pinocchio. It's going to be timeless, and it's for all generations. And it really hit me once, we started celebrating the 30th. So, and I mean, do you feel that you're like in this timeless saga now, or?
Totally. Yeah. I'm lucky enough to like attend a lot of events with fans, and typically I'll see like a whole family. There's like the parents with the kids in the stroller. The parents are in their 30s or 40s, and then they have kids, and then their parents are there. So there's like the grandparents, the parents, and the kids, and they all watch the movies, and they love the movies, and they, so it's so multi-generational. And oftentimes when I ask, like their favorite movies or how often they watch them, they're like, we watch them all the time. We watch them, some watch them weekly, some watch them daily, and it's just incredible to be part of that, and to see that kind of impact, and like you were saying earlier, it is a great story and great characters. And that's because, Pixar, the creative team, they take their time. The first movie took 10 years to make from start to finish. And, Pixar films now take several years to make, and they don't rush it, and because they want it to be the best it can be, and that takes time. Like he says, when he's cleaning up and refurbishing Woody in Toy Story 2, you can't rush art. He's like, you can't rush art. I think that's the Pixar speaking too. And so a lot of fans sometimes say like, oh my gosh, the movies take so long to make. It's like, well, yeah, they need to make them the best they can be.
No, absolutely. Sorry guys, I feel like I'm hogging. So
no, I was just gonna jump back to you talking about generational, because it was my 30th like 10 days ago, and me and my parents went, and my wife, who is expecting any minute now. So if I close my laptop, it's because the baby's here. But yeah. Like 3 generations right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. And I love that it has that appeal. And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Happy belated birthday. And it's
happy upcoming birthday. I see you have one coming up right by me.
Yes.
According to IMDb, then.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, my birthday's in a few days too. Yeah, totally.
I'm October 3rd, so I was like, hey, nice. He's right by me.
Yeah, I'm October 2nd, exactly. Libras unite. But yeah, I think too, because the films more or less go in real time, they're unique in that way. And so literally you can grow up with the characters. We all grew up with the characters. I grew up with Andy as Andy, it's, and so I totally know what that means when fans talk about that. And, and it's so interesting to me too, because sometimes with families, it's like the kids are still, it's like the kids are watching more like Toy Story 4, because they're little, and then they'll be watching 5, and then they're kind of going back and watching 3, 2, and 1. But then the parents grew up watching those. So it's this interesting kind of discovery process too,
It's kind of like how a lot of us were introduced to Star Wars. Started up watching, whatever was happening when you were a kid, and then getting back to the originals that came before, and how generational that can be. You were talking about growing up with the character, and I don't want to fast forward all the way till big moments in Toy Story 3. But how was that? Was the change recording as a 7-year-old to recording what I'm guessing, probably like 11 or 12, and then again at like 15 or 16?
Yeah, so the first one I was ages 7 to 11. The second one I was 13, 14. And then the third one I was actually out of college, even though Andy was off to college. So it always helped me because I've always been older than Andy in real life. So I could kind of draw on past experience. I also just needed to sound a little younger than myself. So I had to just kind of think a little bit younger to line up with him. The first and second film, I just was having a lot of fun recording, and I knew I was Andy, but it really kind of locked in with the third one because I was older and I had more acting training, and I understood what it meant to like fully step into a character, and and I just had more experience with him by then. So it's when I watch them, I kind of see that progression too. And kind of hear it as well, that there's it just feels like there's more nuance as time goes on, and sort of more to Andy, at least what I hear. Yeah.
And I remember when the word came out that you were coming back in 3. I mean, it was just because it really didn't happen a whole lot at the time. So it was just like, well, that's a genius move. I mean, because you were representing so many young kids that were your age in the first movie.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like same thing with like the Harry Potter. My niece was 10 when the first movie came out, then kind of grew up as each movie came out. So I thought that was a brilliant move. And I mean, I know it's animated and stuff, but man, a lot of the feels that happened in that movie, I mean, I still say it has the perfect ending out of any movie I've seen.
Wow, thank you. Yes, and I've heard that from others that they love that ending of Toy Story 3. And it's interesting in that it has that natural progression, and yet you also can just kind of jump in at any point as well, and I love that you brought up Star Wars earlier, Alex, because yes, like maybe if you started watching, like Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen and Jar Jar Binks, that if you'd like jumped in at that point, you then can kind of go back, and now we can go forward with all the spin-offs and such. But it just has that universal appeal, and I just feel so lucky to be part of it. And it's one of the reasons too I like attending events is, there are these statistics, like billions of people have seen the films and globally. And I love kind of meeting families like one-on-one, and like meeting fans one-on-one. It's like, what's your story? Who are your favorite characters? Who are your favorite toys? What are your favorite movies? And like hearing how it affected them, because it's a little overwhelming when you think like billions of people saw these films,
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. And you say you've been all over the world, meeting people throughout this and stuff. As we kind of briefly mentioned before, we will be at MouseCon in Concord on November 2nd. Right?
Yes.
I was talking about it on our last episode and I got it mixed up because on November 1st, we will be trying to do our annual Disney karaoke, which if you're in town, we'd love for you to show up at. We do it at a local brewery, so that's always a good time. But November 2nd is the big show that I was referring to, MouseCon in Concord. And to that end, when you meet families, fans, people at these conventions, is there any like type of story that you feel that you hear a lot? Like you mentioned, people telling you that they thought the ending of Toy Story 3 was so great, or a particular, I watched this as a kid and now I'm able to take my kids to see Toy Story and enjoy these characters, or any sort of super fun fan sign, like thing that you've ever had to sign?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Yeah.
So,
so
I didn't mean to ask too many questions.
No, not at all. No, I
I
just mean like so many cool things I've like been able to sign and stuff like that. No, it's a great question. So, some of the things that come to mind, yes, like the multi-generational, of course. And I love when I get to sign like families, like original, like VHS tapes, they bring their VHS tapes, they bring their Woody and Buzz, I sign under the boots.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah. That's always fun. They like bring the OG toys.
Oh, I know what I'm bringing.
Don't they have the Woody's boot root beer sipper from Disney? We got to get one of those. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess unique things recently, someone brought a Pizza Planet truck to an event and I signed that. That was fun.
V-Truck? The big truck?
Yeah. They had like made a truck. They had made a Pizza Planet truck.
I think we've seen that truck around Southern California.
Yeah, and I signed it, so that was cool. I like got on a ladder and stuff.
Nice.
And then at VacaCon, someone, they were doing like Toy Story tattoos, and someone wanted my signature.
Your friend Matt Robinson.
Yes.
Friend of
totally.
the pod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Matt has given me a few awesome tattoos.
Nice.
So he's in Vacaville, and at VacaCon he was doing Toy Story tattoos, and then I signed my signature on someone's arm per her request, and then that was tattooed. So just cool things like that, and also just like such awesome like fan art and unique kind of interpretations, and sometimes people gift me with really cool fan art, or they'd like me to sign it. That's always exciting. It's always exciting to sign like original drawings by animators, or kind of like little stills. I have so much fun with it, and just so much fun at events, and you kind of never know like what people are going to bring. Sometimes they bring the original movie poster, I did at a recent event, someone brought an original movie poster from 1995, and they had practically the entire cast on it, including Tom Hanks. And it's quite challenging to get Tom Hanks's autograph because he doesn't go to too many events, like fan events.
Right.
And so I think they met him at a premiere or something, or at a book talk, and then he signed the Toy Story poster. So it's just cool to see things like that. And also, I want the fans to get their things signed, so it's like, I'm, that's another reason, like I want to be there so they can get their things signed. I get that,
Very cool. And especially with the 30th, celebrating this year, I've noticed, you've been at like almost a different convention almost every week. So,
it's
any coming up that you want to kind of plug out, and we'll boost the signal.
Thank you. Yes. With the 30th, and also the Andy Funko Pop coming out, things have kind of sped up in terms of like how many events I'm attending, which is awesome, which I love, and I'm very grateful for. So coming up, I just have my calendar right in front of me, which is helpful, because I can't keep it all in my head. I'm going to be going to Dallas for Dallas Fan Festival. I'm going to be doing some Ohana Comic-Con shows. So like the California Ohana Comic-Con shows that circulate. So I'll be at Santanella on October 12th. I'll be at Blue Lake October 18th to 19th. Then I'm going to be, at MouseCon November 2nd. And we were talking earlier, there are going to be a lot of voice actors there and quite a few Pixar voice actors. A few involved in Coco, Mary Gibbs, voice of Boo in Monsters, Inc., Jeff Pigeon, voice of the aliens in Toy Story, Emily Ricks, voice of Bonnie in Toy Story 3. We had that scene together, end of Toy Story 3. So, if folks want to get their Toy Story things signed, they'll have 3, voice actors there from the movies. And then if people don't follow me on Instagram, please follow me at John Charles Morris. I always post where I'm going to be with, upcoming events and appearances. And I'm also on Cameo. If anyone would like a fun shout out, I have a lot of fun doing those. Birthday shout outs, graduations, weddings, Mother's Day, new baby, etc.
Nice. Ryan?
Yes, that's me.
Yes.
Sorry, I know we're almost out of time, but I just have one more question. What do you feel like where the franchise is now and the future? Because I know the next movie seems like it's going to be the Battle of the iPad, which I'm sure I'm going to watch in real time as my kid goes up. But then how does Andy get his kids the toys back in Toy Story 6? Do you think that's...
I know. Yeah. So it's so interesting. I think Toy Story 5, I'm really excited about it. And it's a great premise. Like you're talking about, screen time, toys versus tech, which is very timely, as we all know.
Yes.
And, it's in very good hands. Andrew Stanton, who's been there from the start, is directing with Kenna Harris, who's done some awesome Pixar projects. So, and, focusing on Jessie and her backstory too. So I think I'm very excited about all of that. And I do hear from a lot of fans, they ask what's Andy doing now? What do you think he what do you think he focused on in college? What do you think he has kids? Do you think he's married? All these really good questions. And I hear from a lot of people that they want the entire story to come full circle. And, really interesting ideas, really interesting fan theories. Like Andy's grown up. Maybe he has a few kids, or he has a son named Andy Jr. Maybe Bonnie is babysitting them because we know that they're family friends. Maybe Andy Sr., is like, where are all the toys? What happened to the other toys? And maybe that kicks something off. So there are so many possibilities. We know that Toy Story 5 is not the last one. So I don't know if that means Toy Story 6. I don't know if that means Toy Story 7, 8, 9. I'm not sure how far we're going to go. But Andrew Stanton said, we're excited to keep bringing these stories to you. So that's exciting to hear. Maybe there's going to be another kid after Bonnie. I'm not sure. So we all have to kind of stay tuned. There are so many characters and so many, beloved toys that they theoretically could, explore all the backstories of all the toys, which is interesting. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. I would love to come back and voice Andy as an adult. I would love to do that. For me, that would kind of come full circle too. So it just depends on what the writers do, what the directors do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the answer. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I got one more question, but I don't know if Alex had anything.
I got a ton more questions, but I'm going to save some of it for when we're at MouseCon.
Sounds good.
Let us get there. Go ahead, John.
Well, I'll do my one more, and basically, is there, voicing Andy from being young to college age, is there like a specific scene that you're super proud of, that you're like, yeah, we did that, and that means a lot?
Yeah, I think the final scene in Toy Story 3 with Andy and Bonnie, especially Andy's little monologue about Woody, because I hear from fans that it just basically like touches their heart, and a lot of people talk about how emotional it is, and they say it always makes me cry, but like in a good way, in a cathartic way, in a way that makes me feel connected to my family or my kids, or so I just, and it's not just like my performance, it's also the music and the visuals and all of that coming together. I just feel like that's a really successful scene in terms of connecting to the audience and connecting them to the story and helping them feel part of it. And Pixar, it's not the only emotional scene Pixar has ever created, as we know, because practically every film has a lot of emotional scenes in it that they
But that's
create.
the one, though. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's and I was emotional recording it, and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me that it connected with people and that they were able to kind of like connect to their own lives. That's, to me, the power of good art. So yeah, so I feel like that scene, and I recently was at an event with Emily Ricks, who's Bonnie in Toy Story 3, and that's what we were hearing from everyone. They were just like, that's one of my favorite scenes in all the movies, and that just meant a lot.
Oh, very cool. Well, John, man, thank you for taking the time to talk with us as we kind of
thanks
nerd
for
out on
having
Toy
me.
Story.
This has been
Oh,
awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And look forward to seeing you in just about a month at MouseCon. And I know you also got a lot of other stuff going on. So if you ever always got an open door, if you ever want to talk about some other projects or anything you got going on, definitely we'll link up. And
speaking of other projects, I just have to get it out because it's IMDb, and you mentioned seeing it at MouseCon before. Additional voices in Nightmare Before Christmas. Were you the kid holding the shrunken head on Christmas?
Yes, yeah. So I'm Santa Boy in The Nightmare Before Christmas, and also did additional voices. So like when you hear kids screaming or running up and down the stairs, I'm one of those.
Cool.
And it's so funny. A lot of people come to my table to talk to me about Toy Story. Some come to my table to talk to me about The Nightmare Before Christmas. And some both. But that was an awesome experience. I just worked on it for one day in San Francisco. Tim Burton was there. Of course, the director, Henry Selick, was there. And they had the models. And we all were looking at the models. And, this was in the early 90s as well. And we just had so much fun. And then I had no idea that it was going to look how it looked because the models are so little. So it was like, so crazy to see. And I love that movie. I mean, personally, like I watch it on Halloween. I watch it around the holidays. It's
another very groundbreaking movie, just like Toy Story
and it has like a cult following, and everyone loves Jack and Sally and all the characters. And it's also the fact that it's like 50% Halloween, 50% Christmas feels special. I can't really think of another movie that's like that,
So it's a perfect Thanksgiving movie. It's right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people say, like, I watch it from September through January. It's like, yeah, you totally could do that. Or anytime. But yeah, I just love that movie. And, also like Danny Elfman's music and singing. And, I mean, there's just so much to that movie and the look of it. And obviously Tim Burton's brilliance. And yeah, so it's really cool that I got to be like a small part in a Tim Burton movie.
Another generation,
Yeah, exactly, because I'm a fan of his as well. So that's also an awesome project I was part of. And then also Pepperoni in Lego Island, the computer game from the 90s that Lego fans usually zero in on. The skateboarding pepperoni who delivered the pizzas. So that was fun too.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough to do some fun things. Yeah.
Well, that's the picture I'm going to be looking to get signed at MouseCon. I don't know if you bring the kid holding the thing or if I'm going to have to go find one myself.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. I have 3 of those prints. So
yes.
Yeah. I got you covered. I got the Andy prints. I got the Santa Boy prints. I got the pepperoni print. Yeah.
Well, everybody listening and watching, please come out, hang out with us at MouseCon on November 2nd, and make sure you check out John Charles Morris on Instagram for all of his dates of where he will be if he's in your neck of the woods, and demand him if he's not.
Yes,
Vancouver. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Vancouver Fan Expo. Yeah, a lot of people ask like, "Are you coming to Chicago? Are you coming to Boston?" And I'd love to be everywhere. And the promoters and organizers do listen to the fans. So yeah, feel free to put in a request. I would appreciate it. And hopefully I can come to your neck of the woods at some point soon.
Awesome.
Sweet. Well, once again, John, thank you very much. We're really excited to have you on and look forward to seeing you more in the future.
Yeah, thank you. This has been awesome. Yeah.
Happy 30th anniversary and happy birthday. Yeah.
Yes,
thank you. You too. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that conversation with John. I forgot to ask him one question, and I'm sure he probably gets his ass a lot. But I wonder if he's ever showing up at like at a friend's house or family reunion or party or something, and all of a sudden people say Andy's coming. I don't know. I'm probably a good thing I didn't ask from that reaction.
Well, we'll save that for his panel at MouseCon and see if it.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, once again,
we can put a little thing on everyone's seat, and we'll get everybody in the audience to do it.
That'd be awesome. Maybe they'll let us moderate that one. Who knows? Come on, Steve, let's do that.
Hey.
But yeah, check us out November 2nd at MouseCon. Myself, Alex, Sean, and some other. I think Sam's coming. We're going to be doing our doo-wop table. So and
doo-wop, doo.
So check us out. Check John out. Check everybody, all the Toy Story people out. Check out everybody. But I think it was Ryan shared this video we want to share real quick in our little Instagram thread, and just to build up the conversation. So let me pull it up here, and we'll end the show with kind of like a little conversation about the future Toy Story.
What you do. Toy Story 5, reportedly the villain is a tablet, and it's going to be the toys versus technology. And apparently Bonnie has forsaken the toys and thrown them in the closet in the deepest, darkest corner with all the dust bunnies for her tablet. Which, by the way, Bonnie is just the absolute worst. Okay, have them battle technology in 5, whatever. If you're going to make a Toy Story 6, and I'm going to look directly into the camera the entire time I'm saying this, because this might be my greatest take of all time. Ready? For the first 3 movies, it was the toys have separated themselves from Andy. 6 needs to be an Andy movie. So Toy Story 6, enough time has passed. Andy has graduated college. He has a family of his own. He has a kid of his own. And his kid is old enough now to have toys of his or her own. Now Bonnie's going to college. So now Bonnie's giving her toys away. They're having a garage sale or something, Toy Story 2 style. All of Andy's toys to somebody else. Bonnie gives away all of Andy's toys to somebody else, or she just throws them out. Something. The toys are scattered, but I'll buy these back from you. I want these. Whatever it takes. I want these toys for my kid. And Bonnie's like, I'm so sorry, I lost them. The only lead I have is this. So the entire movie, after an entire franchise of the toys trying to get back to their person, and trying to get back to the toys. And you have it following Andy trying to get back to his toys so that he can give them to his kid. And the ending is Andy reuniting with his toys and being able to provide them to his kids. The franchise ends with Andy's kid growing up with Andy's toys. So then 6 That's perfect, dude. So then 6 is just a story of Andy getting back to his toys.
Dude, I love that.
If you're going to do...
Here's what you do. Toy Story 5.
Interesting. That is pretty interesting.
It's a take. Shout out. That is the pod you're looking for on Instagram with their take on potential future for Toy Story 5 and 6. Now, as far as the tablet being the villain and Bonnie being, a shit forsaking her toys, I believe these are all inferences from the one piece of concept art we've seen so far. But the idea of toys versus technology, not only just rings off the tongue, but it's very relevant to today and, kids and where we're at with the differences in our childhood and theirs and stuff. I think another big difference is, we always talk about playing outside until the streetlights came on, things like that. The kids just don't really do anymore. So it'll be interesting to see those things reflected. I think you see it in a lot of the Pixar films in the way the kids are depicted already, obviously not being Toy Story. But that Toy Story 6 take, I know Ryan was saying it sounded perfect. It does sound like a story, but for me, I felt having a Toy Story movie be all Andy's story just didn't feel like, we're here to see the toys walking and talking and stuff. So my idea, and this is, deep blue sky crazy, is you do a Toy Story 6, it's the toys getting back to Andy, but then, in this whole live action world that Disney's living in, we do a live action Andy movie of what Andy's doing, trying to get back to the toys. These two movies that would intertwine at so many moments, but seeing the live action perspective and then the toys perspective.
So that sounds cool, but real quick, I got to touch on the kids in the tablet. That I saw that live in person at Disneyland. We were having breakfast at Galactic Grill, and it was during the whole build up for Lilo and Stitch. So they had like Stitch's dance party, and they had characters, and kids were going crazy, like, there's Stitch, there's Donald, and all that stuff. There was a 3-year-old at the table, not giving two shits on the tablet, just swiping, playing. I'm like, dude, Stitch is right there. I'm excited. So
yeah, when I was there, whenever we were there earlier this month, so many kids in strollers, dude, just on their iPads. Like, look where you are. Like,
exactly.
It's
you're
tough,
like, you're in the
but,
Wild
like,
West.
if you think of it from the perspective, especially if there's a younger kid and an older kid, if that tablet is the pacifier to keep the young one occupied so that the older one, or let's be honest, the adults, the older kids in the family, can stay and enjoy the park a little bit longer before a meltdown, so be it. But, I guess it's up to the parents, and this is not me, person without kids, trying to tell people how to parent, because best believe I'm going to be leaning on that iPad whenever I can or whenever I need to. But just the difference is, we didn't have that when we were growing up. It was a blanket or a stuffed animal or, somebody playing peekaboo. And maybe those things made us more prone to being open to the big Stitches running around and such. Or maybe we were just crying and having tantrums because we didn't have a tablet. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see how it explores that.
Yeah, but with the Toy Story 6 idea, I do like that, but like Ryan mentioned, I don't know if I like that Andy's searching for the toys because still is a Toy Story, but I think you can still do the same thing where, like Bonnie, she's grown up, she doesn't need anything. And we've seen it before where Woody will write a note and, drop off at Sunnybrook, good. So they're like, oh, okay, I'll drop it off Sunnybrook. So Woody and Buzz, they get wind that Bonnie's older and she's just, Mom, get rid of them. I don't need them. Drop them off. And Andy's then, and somehow like, basically they're like, well, let's find Andy. And, they kind of do that. Then they're still in search for Andy because they know he's close. Cause they, like you said, they hear maybe Andy's mom and Bonnie's mom talking and like, oh yeah, Andy, he's got a family. They're moving back to the neighborhood and, that kind of stuff. And then that Woody, oh, let's find Andy. He's got a kid, and stuff like that. I think still with Andy, I still think ending up with Andy and his kids, but still from the toys point of view, I think would be great.
What if Andy doesn't have kids and maybe he's a single guy trying to find a partner in this world? So instead, the toys find him and we get like Ted 3, where they actually start, talking to Andy and helping him find a mate, becoming the ideal gentleman or something.
Hey, that could be interesting. And then that's when Jesse clicks Buzz into Latin mode and teaches him how to dance.
I'm also thinking about like how we never got, other than the time at the end of Toy Story 1 where he breaks to talk to Sid, they never really exposed himself to any humans, right? Maybe
No,
like
that was
seeing
it.
the traffic cones move in Toy Story 2. I'm thinking back to Sid. I'm like, man, was he okay? I know there's like, isn't there a canon that he's a garbage man in one of the movies or something?
Yeah, Toy Story 3. The garbage kid. You barely see him, but you see him a
Wearing
couple
the shirt.
times, and he's wearing the skull shirt.
Yeah. I would just imagining that Sid like went crazy or whatever. They had to like homeschool him and stuff because he thought toys were talking to him. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see more. Maybe Sid's kids. I don't know. Just so many what ifs and fan fiction that could come from the Toy Story universe.
Yeah, but it should end full circle, return to Andy and either his 40-year-old virgin toy collection or
Basically, they just need to redo the ending from Toy Story 3 is what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
they did it right in Toy Story 3, so now we need to like go back and do something with his kid and Bonnie so that they could redo what they had already done correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe not with Bonnie, but like where he sees a box and opens them, then he sees, Woody, Buzz, Jesse, and then his kid like kind of maybe say he's 4, maybe 5, kind of peeks in like, then he kind of does the whole plane with him again.
And then I guess to give this a sense of reality, right? We're all adults here now. Do you have a toy from your childhood that you would move Earth to go and try and find?
I have
man.
My Woody and Buzz or my I know it's cliche for the episode, but Woody and Buzz are my toys from my childhood. I have them somewhere.
To be fair, I think the three of us probably kept a lot more of our toys than most did. Yeah. Also, you are a lot closer to your childhood than the other two of us.
Yeah.
So I guess not as much something that you would move Earth for, but how about just a toy from your childhood that you'd be like, man, I wish I still had that.
Oh, my wrestling figures for sure. Like there wasn't a specific one, but like my tote of 500 wrestling figures.
You have the ring and everything.
Yeah. I think we just gave them away at one point, but
yes, I had a lot of wrestling figures. My Ninja Turtle figures. When we were talking about being kids and doing the voices, that was me with my Ninja Turtle figures for sure. Michelangelo is a party dude.
This is hard. I know people are expecting me to say Star Wars, but if it was Star Wars, it'd probably be the first Millennium Falcon I had, and it was the one from Return of the Jedi. But I think like an actual like just straight up toy was one of my Dinobots.
What is a Dinobot?
Transformers.
Dino Transformers.
But I never had Grimlock.
Didn't they finally put those in the last Transformer movie?
Kind of.
Or the Rise of the Beasts?
Kind of.
Oh, those are cool.
But I had the Triceratops. I forget his name. It'd probably be that one.
Slag,
yeah. Because I never had like the original Optimus Prime or any of the big characters, but maybe my X-Wing. I don't know. That's a good one, though. That's a good question.
Well, we posed that question to all of you in the Disney universe. What toy from your childhood would you shed a tear if you could have again, or always in the back of your mind as being the best, or something that you would want to pass on to your kids, either you already have or wish that you still had to do so? Let us know in the comments of this episode, and we will definitely make sure to read those on our next episode, because we haven't had anything like that in a while, and I like interacting with you guys. We've had a lot of this and our last episode with two great guests, and we've got more great guests to come, so we hope you guys are enjoying everything we're doing here in the Disney universe, bringing the DU to you. It's been really cool. We're looking forward to bring the DU to you in person for those of you who can be in Concord at MouseCon on November 2nd. And the night before, on November 1st, when we're doing Disney karaoke, we hope that you guys will all come out and join us and just celebrate being a Disney adult and talking about toys from our childhood, trips from our adulthood, and all the cool stuff that's happening in Disney's future, which, of course, is our future because we're the Disney universe.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have my list, Tommy, so I don't know what we're talking about next week, but our next show, but I know what I'll be talking about. I know I'm going to be geeking out on Tron a little bit. So, but we got some fun stuff coming out.
Hopefully we'll be talking about some Wakanda. Yeah. We've got things in the pipeline, and if you're following us at all those amazing places, Ryan.
Yes, you can interact with us on Instagram, X, Facebook, and YouTube, just the Disney Universe Podcast, and we will pop right up. And if you're watching us on YouTube and you'd like to listen, head over to the Walt's Production, blanking on it.
Walt's Apartment Productions.
Walt's Apartment Production, yes. And you can listen to us there. And a lot of other shows. Joey, what are you on, like 7 other shows there?
Just a few, but I'm trying to focus on getting our YouTube up. So definitely be sure to subscribe, hit those likes, hit the bell, and share our shows. We got some fun stuff coming out. And maybe
we could do a live soon.
About if you're not too busy with, we'll see if you're around.
This is going to be my 2
Ryan
hours.
will be live all hours of the night, getting baby Walt to go to sleep. So if you guys want to just get on Instagram Live with Ryan at 3 a.m. and watch Toy Story 4.
I might, dude. I might, just for fun.
And shout out to those of you who we know are on all of those socials and checking out our episodes of Walt's Apartment Productions and here on at the DUTV on YouTube. And I'm talking about the best toys in the toy chest, our DU crew. Shout out to Alfredo, John Z, Jen, Tyler, Salah MJ1995, Jacob, and Wedge Antilles. All 7 of you are the best toys in Andy's room, and we thank you so much for being a part of it. If you want to be part of this great toy chest we call the Disney Universe, head over to patreon.com/DU crew. Find out about our 2 tiers of fun, and come join us, won't you?
Absolutely. So, had a great episode, great guest, great time celebrating, but now it's time to say goodbye. So, until next time,
may the force be with you.
Till infinity and beyond.
Stop it, you zealots!
The claw.